me make sure it is appropriately assigned. One profess org now has an opulent throne room and a grand bedroom with one cabinet. Shouldn't you also have a chest? It should say chest in that list. These rooms never got finished over here. What happened? Made a bunch of wood chests. Did I just not make any replacement stone chests? Oh. Okay. Well, looks like I need to order up some chests. It's called a coffer when it's stone. But I don't know, let's order like 10. Hey, Dragoman. Did anything happen? New Forgotten Beast. I haven't ever made a thing for a mare. We discovered I've created a massive pathfinding issue, causing lots of dwarves to get slowly sad, depressed, and dehydrated over time. We mummified a dwarf in an empty hallway, and we are now trying to figure out how to reestablish our tunnel connections. I accidentally built two completely separate bases-ish. I had massive carryover hallways, but I never had a straight throughput stair system. So it was the Bailey that led to the area below the motte, not the motte itself, because I never actually built, or I don't know if I ever built them or not. I didn't have a proper up-down stairwell below the motte. So now we're putting them in, and people don't have to go all the way to the Bailey to come back to the motte. I wonder how long it's been like that. Like, has it been full entire streams? So I'm wondering if I did that when I floored it over to prevent mushrooms growing, which is like quite a few streams back. Like by a not small margin. All right, here's what I want to do. Whatever you were, I want to copy you. Mech guides, primary materials, heavy, refuse, heavy, light, seeds, trading goods. Want clothing. Do you have any of these for clothing? I don't know what any of these are, but it doesn't look like it. So those default ones are wrong. What am I gonna do? I'm going to create a good stockpile on the roof. Like so. Then I'm going to take away 2, create a new good stockpile there. This is going to be forbidden of everything except plant cloth and leather. No artifacts. And you will do footwear, headwear, handwear, legwear, armor. Then I'm going to save load settings, save these as damaged clothing. I'm going to go to you and load damaged clothing. No max bins, no max bins. Build construction track stop here. That dumps to the south. Made of willow logs. You are going to go away. You are not allowing bins, you are going to give to this one. That way we can just start moving everything over. This should work well. Pathfinding efficiency just jumped. Cyberpunk 77 levels of math. I'll also be lurking for a bit while I read some stuff. Also, I can't listen and read at the same time somehow, but I can decipher like 4 conversations going on at the same time. Someone had a mood that I barely remember, and it has begun. Huzzah. Huzzah, huzzah. Well, the big thing is, though, is that they're getting the stone up here faster now by like orders of magnitude. It should be a lot easier for them to make the blocks in the coffers. Go figure. When you have the stone, you can make things with the stone. Who could have known? Real question is, why do I have so many fucking wood pots? What was your condition? Empty large pots less than 15. How the hell did you end up making these? They must have been filled and slowly emptied over time? Are we making more booze? Yeah, this is still on just repeat. We're slowly going up in booze. Cool, I guess. I'm hauling refuse bars, new, not what I wanted, new route called damage clothing. That has 1 stop. That stop pulls from this stockpile. It pulls from that stockpile finished goods of the plant cloth and or leather variety, other than artifacts. And the only things it brings in is foot, head, hand. I think I said armor and leg wear. It'll be assigned that vehicle. What about silk? Oh, silk is for losers. The Chulu, the water wizard, has grown attached to an iron whip. He loves the way it sings through the air. Do we have merchants that are stuck in the map again? Oh my God, why? Oh no, we just actually have merchants here. How have you been asked to come? What the fuck? All right, hold on. There are people here to trade. There's already goods here that haven't been enabled, I guess. Not trading the books. We'll trade away the muscle shell figurines because I think they might be elves. Fuck it, we'll see if we can get away with that. 7,456. And these are in fact definitely the elves. What can you trade me? A giant cassowary. A tiger. I'll take the tiger. Maybe I'll do something with it. Oh boy, a slug. I've been waiting my entire life for a fucking slug. Huzzah, huzzah. My life is complete because of a slug. I'll take your food. Dwarves will like it, I suppose. That's it. That's literally all you have. You are making such a massive profit off of me. What can I not give them? I want to test something. A damaged cloak. 1 cloak. My 1 cloak is worth more than all the food they brought and a fucking tiger in a cage. One damaged pre-owned cloak is worth 28 more dwarf bucks than their tiger in a cage and all the fruits that they brought. What the shit? Jesus Christ. Take the 10 cage while you're at it, because I don't want those. And take these things that are clearly not designed by me, that are extremely low quality. Take those. I don't want them. Yes, thank you for your kindness. There's no point in offering things to the elves, is there? Because I really kind of don't care about them. There you go. Yeah, fuck it. We're good. Fucking useless elves. Dwarven craftsmanship of the highest quality. Oh wait, I had that with really low down. Me tweak, and dwarven craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It's still low. Why does it sound low? One last time. Dwarven craftsmanship is of the highest quality. There you go. Like Dragon of old when she wasn't crying on my desk. Why buy their ugly elf clothes? I didn't buy their ugly elf clothes. Their ugly elf clothes are made for ugly elves. We're not about that life. Issue though, we barely have any idlers for hauling things. I think they're bringing the fruits back. Do we or do we not have a kitchen? Do I process plants regularly? Oh dear Lord. I don't even want to know how many plants there are to be processed. Where are we storing all the food? Genuine question. Where in my base do I store food? Is it here? Is this my food place? Food stockpile. Build workshop. Do I already have a kitchen somewhere and I don't remember? I have 2 kitchens on this map and I don't remember any of them. This one's rendering fat, making you render lavish meals. I don't even know what I have for other. Kitchen. Don't cook prickleberries. I like that idea. Yeah, okay. You okay? Okay. Don't do tallow. Do need to start rendering this if I'm not going to cook it. Holy shit, those amount of eggs. First of all, that's a lot of dwarf dog bone tallow. A lot of dog tallow from fat. A lot of guinea hen eggs. Holy crap. That dog tallow, we're cooking that. There's just way too much of it that I'm clearly not turning into soap. So I bless off on eating dog fat. It's Class D milk, Dave. It lasts forever. It's filled with nutrients and marrowbone jelly. We need the architect for the floor. Malk. Kumil Udid Broder, the hauler, has created Kumil Udid Broder.
I hope one gets in my room.
Did she make an artifact and name it after herself? Kumil Udid Broder, the hauler, has created Kumil Urdi Broder, a limewood ring. She claims as an heirloom the name of the family ancestor, Sirol Abbey Plugged. Kumil Udi Broder, which translates as Kumil Syrup Baldness, a limewood ring. You fucking self-obsessed bitch. Worth 32,200 dwarf bucks. This is a limewood ring. All crafts dwarfship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with sandy clay, decorated with lime wood and llama wool, and encircled with bands of lime wood and dog leather. The object menaces with spikes of lime wood, dog bone, and bandfire opal. On the item is an image of a baguette cut gem in yak leather. On the item is an image of a giant jaguar in praise. I can't believe she named the artifact after herself. Her name will go down in history. Yeah, I guess so. That's one way to do it. What is your family known for? Well, we made a really good artifact one time. Yeah, what was it called? The name of my great-grandmother. What? Who made it? My great-grandmother? Did she name it after herself? We don't talk about that. The mayor has a new demand. Why are we not digging? Did you know that the mayor has a new demand? Actually, side thing for our engravers. Why have I never engraved any of this? Why? Oh, why did I never engrave these rooms? Wouldn't it have been nice to have high worth bedrooms and temples and shit this entire time? Why did I never engrave them? Why? Guild established. Finally. We've had guilds. We've had plenty of established guilds. I think you were training your artists. Well, now's the fucking time, isn't it? They've been making people's bedrooms and shit. I think it's about time they come back and, you know, do the temple. Maybe we'll get more people to be happier sooner. All right, skipping up past them, back up here. All right, I'm trying to maybe get people to do clothing. And it looks like it's starting to work. So far, we have one entire rope redress. Huzzah. My assumption is that we'll only be bringing damaged clothing up here. We'll always be trading out for damaged. Particularly because I now have a guy on processing plants again. The booze is going up, but the brew maker, you know, he's taking a sweet fucking time. What is this? This is all just plant barrels, right? All right, making sure. Yeah, because we don't have rope reeds growing because I didn't process fucking rope reeds. Still making more chalk blocks. All right, how many of these have we made in the meantime? Do I have enough to do another block of 100? Actually, I probably shouldn't. Genuine, I've got a lot of things going around individually in the base that need to get like looked at. So perhaps we wait a second on ordering hundreds of new construction jobs while we get, you know, the base sorted. How did you get bolts on top of the wall that no one can climb to? It's like throwing a fucking frisbee on the roof. Like how and or why? Ooh. Everyone, defend thyselves. We are being raided from a party from Uru's Rune. That's right. We have now been declared war upon. They are jealous of our craft store ship. Defend the artifacts. Hello, Uru's Rune. Do I still have? I still have the mods, right? Can someone shout her out for him? I don't know. Making weird assumptions today. Yes, your Mutt and Bailey are impressive. We must not address people as anything, for Twitch has deemed it so. Everyone is only to be addressed as your dwarfship or comrade. Them. Yes. How has your fort been going, Uruzrun? They. All hail the Twitch overlords. Your dwarf ship sounds good. Your dwarf ship, please Please forgive one such a humble dwarf as I am only fit to serve the goblins. Please, please don't hit me again. Good, about 6 levels or so left till we reach the limit of the skybox with our tower. Nice. Sounds like you're able to build fast. I waste streams slowly getting 1 level done. I need more stone.
I can't do it. I just can't.
The Guild of Smiths now requires a guild hall for the Woodcrafter Guild. Yeah, sure, whatever. I approve. I dug out a new room for them already anyways, didn't I?
No, I can't do it.
The Woodcrafter Guild. Meeting place, assign location, add location, craft guild. The Woodcrafter Guild. Hold on. Boom. The Paddle of Shields. That's a weird name. Citizens only. Oh, look, it is already a grand guild hall. I have accomplished what I said I would do in but mere moments. Huzzah. Not sure you waste the stream on rants. Way more. Oh, thanks. That's too harsh to humans. So why are you trying to hit the skyblocks, the limit of the skyblocks with your tower? Is it a tower of, in fact, babble? Do you babble at your dwarves and they say weird things like, we can't build there because the wood we need to build there has impacted our friend's abdomen and exploded it? Oh, oh, oh. What I'm liking are just the pieces over here that they're just ignoring. Wait, no, these are all suspended. They're just not showing up. Why aren't they showing up if they're suspended? That is violating the Elven Treaty of 1492. All suspended activities will show up when I hit pause. We don't want to get hit with another fine again. We must obey all the Elven treaties, particularly the Elven Pause Treaty of 1942. You must pierce the sky. Our fort is called Heroic Lances, so we are lancing up into the sky with a platinum spine. Dear Lord. Can you imagine how much that would hurt if it toppled? Not like, you know, not like hurt your sandy and your hopes and dreams, but literally physically hurt if a platinum tower just lands on you. That would be painful, I would imagine. So my new idea for the next, what do you call them? Barracks. Is I'm gonna have a hallway here, build the barracks there. Back here's we're gonna store the ranged ammunition, and this is gonna be the shooting barracks for them. I'm gonna switch the archers down to here, the melee up to there. That's my thought at the very least. No, it's just the spine that's platinum. The tower is mostly slate, gabbro, and rock salt. Still very heavy though. You came for assault, you're a little late. I don't know what they're talking about. We have all been the happiest people. We have not shown or expressed saltiness about anything. Praise be the Twitch overlords. They always determine the right things. Oh, and also praise Cyberpunk 2077, the greatest of mathematicians. Praise be math. Oh my God. No, the tanks are not racist, you lying asshat. A tank cannot be racist. A tank is an inanimate object. Apparently, my chat has decided that what they really love is the fact that there is a tank dating sim on Steam, which when they even show the waifus that represent the tanks, they show no correlation with the tank. They're just like, oh, look, it's an anime chick tank. And they overlay her in front of like World War II footage of a tank. So they didn't even bother to do characterization correctly at all. But apparently, according to some of my chat, the only characterization you need to know to identify a German tank is that she's blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and racist. That's how you tell what type of tank it is if it's blonde hair, blue-eyed, and racist, you can tell if it's a fucking tiger tank. That's not how that works. A tank also cannot be horny, and it did not stop my friend. 1. A tank can be horny. What if the tank is out of fuel and it wants more liquids from Fuel Truck Senpai? I'm just saying that's possible. I will accept that as being possible. I will not accept that you can identify a German tank by blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and fucking racist. That's gibberish. All right, so I made that wall really skinny. I'm hoping, if nothing else, that I can really reduce the amount of mud that comes out. I'm hoping just the chances of the water getting all the way down here and then possibly back is just going to be in my favor. Because the worst it can do now is spread down here, which it's doing in large amounts already somehow. Praise be. The fact that it's doing that genuinely hurts me a little bit. If I walled that over, the water can only come out there and it would have to go down again anyways if I did that. But if I wall that over, really I need that to not be, is this ground? That is ground, that's why. I can't wall there because then we lose it being a brook. Once I put a wall there, that becomes ground, not brook surface. Tanks move, they're animate. A tank, that's the Panzer. The Tiger tank was German too. So what, is the Panzer somehow racist, but a Tiger isn't? Is that what you're telling me? Dude, there's also a helicopter dating sim, and I gifted it to my friend who flies Apaches. My issue is not the dating sim aspect of it. My issue is the identification. You should be able to know that you are doing a dating sim about X topic, look at a girl and go, oh, look, that girl is insert topic here. It is not the fact of the audacity of a tank dating sim. It is the fact that they have nothing to identify the Panzer other than blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and fucking racist. You can have a helicopter dating sim, but I expect the helicopter that is, I expect a hind to be skinnier and to somehow have a shit ton of weapons. Like you just see weapons popping out from behind her and then she randomly slams into things. That is what I expect. Whereas a Chinook, I expect to be a bit of a thick girl that randomly has like cookies or like little gingerbread men because it's a troop transport. I expect it to be identifiable as the thing it is representing. That is the issue. And the thing to represent a fucking tank cannot be that she's racist. That does not identify a type of tank. That's insanity. At Belgian Beef, well, everyone's going to fucking raid and host. Everyone's gonna get in on this. Fuck it. Blind IRL. Can my mods shout them out, please? Can someone shout out Blind? Thank you so much for the host. Maybe you can weigh in on this. We're doing Dwarf Fortress. Thank you for getting dwarfed. We're doing Dwarf Fortress. I'm doing a Motten Bailey Castle. This is the last level of the artificial hill I'm needing to do. This, oh my God, everyone's clicking, everything's active. So much activity. Faulted Thrower 3 following the channel. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you so much.
So, no, not profession, has nickname. Read. Who got dwarfed? 3 for one Professor. No, 16 for Tolus? Like Ptolemy? Ptolemy? I know I said that name wrong.
Thank you so much.
I'm just gonna say it's Tolus. 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Thank you so much.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Tolus, which I'm assuming is a pronunciation. I'm going off of Ptolemy. You got Dwarf 16. Hold on, Jesus Christ. You are, what are you? You're a planter, you're a farmer. You are a farmer dwarf. There is a chance you might get moved off of that onto being something else because I have a lot of farmers, but I am needing to revamp my farm here soon, so you might also keep your job. Also, Norstat and Tolus, follow me on the channel. Thank you for your support of the channel. Someone else got dwarfed in the middle there. I heard the dwarfing call, but I don't see who got dwarfed. Now, for everyone, Blind IRL and all of his fantastic viewers, we are having a slight non-Dwarf Fortress conversation, if you guys can bear with it a bit. My weebier viewers are discussing a tank dating sim, and they've apparently decided that it is appropriate that the only way to identify a Panther tank is that in a dating sim, the Panther tank needs to be blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and fucking racist. There's nothing else apparently to identify one tank from another other than if she's a German tank, she has to be blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and racist. There's no other way to identify a tank. I got 16 for Tolus. I could have sworn I heard a dwarfing command twice. Faulted Thrower 3. I'm seeing a thank you for following from them. Tolus. Yeah. As if I ever talk about Dwarf Fortress. Dwarf Fortress 12. Why do I not see that number? Oh, they were first, which means technically 16 should have been 17, but I think we'll all survive. I don't date heavy machinery, so I cannot help in this topic. Well, I suppose we'll accept it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Currently, Faulted Thrower 3. Faulted Thrower 3. You are a hauler. I don't have any specific jobs for you. What is likely to happen is at some point you're going to end up in the military and you will be building up your military skills from there. We have 2 and 2.3 dedicated military outfits right now. We have a steel foundry down below, and we are at some point going to be switching over to making adamantine. We've trained them up to legendary, and we're working off of that. You had the printed on the body pillows or something. I don't know. I've been lost since the Nuggies conversation. So my argument in this case, because they also brought up a helicopter dating sim, is that, for instance, if you were to do an Apache or a Russian helicopter, that if she were to be skinnier but somehow be carrying a lot of things, that would be a way to identify that helicopter. Whereas the troop transport Chinook should be a thicker person who probably has little gingerbread man cookies or something because she's a troop transport. Something that reflects what they were and or did in real life. You cannot define a tank as assigning German characteristics or the racist German characteristics of blonde hair, blue-eyed, and then also assign her the German characteristic or at least the Nazi German characteristic of being racist. That is not the definition of the tank itself. That is my argument. Now, where is my chalk blocks? Do I not have enough chalk blocks still? Floor, steel bars, coke, diorite blocks, horse soap. Lots of horse soap. Chalk blocks only 62. All right, so we're still hampered by not having enough chalk blocks. Lemon Snow Cone, thank you so much for following. And Storm with 100 bits. New follower bits, yo. Thank you so much for the support. Now, for those of you who typed in the dwarfing command and got dwarfed, as you watch, we had the channel points and you can use that to redeem things for your dwarf. A suite, a statue in their honor, so on and so forth. But the script itself does double duty. If you ever come back to a different stream, whether or not I'm doing Dwarf Fortress, and want to know if your dwarf is still alive, all you have to do is type in the same script. The script keeps track of whether or not you are alive. If I'm doing Dwarf Fortress and you're not alive, it'll just give you a new dwarf. If you are alive, it'll send you a whisper saying you're alive. And if I'm not doing Dwarf Fortress, it'll send you a whisper saying your status of being alive or not. So if you're ever wondering, it's the exact same script. You can spell it either way, DWARF or DORF, and it will update you as to the status of your dwarf. Unless I'm doing Dwarf Fortress and you're dead, in which case it'll just give you a new one, which is kind of the same way as it kind of carries the same effect of letting you know you were dead. The only thing I don't have automated in it right now is the actual assigning of names. I have it run a random number generator, and I don't have it automatically kill you. I have to type in a script every time to manually kill off the person who died. Took me a bit to come over. Infinity Simplex. I feel like I missed part of that conversation. Hold on. I've got a different screen with more chat history on it. You don't date waifus. Cool. You have them printed on the body pillows. Took me a bit to come over. Well, thank you so much, Infinity Simplex. What about the KV2? I'm lost by all of this. It's a female personification of certain military equipment, right? Yes. So the idea is that there's this, we'll say comedic, almost a parody. Are types of video games called dating sims. I'm just starting at the roots. Please don't get angry. I'm not assuming you're dumb. There's a type of video game, a dating sim, which is the idea of, for depending upon the target audience, males or females or what have you. There's ones for either, whatever choices you want. Anyways, the idea being that you date them, you figure out which one has the personality you want, and hopefully you do enough in the sim, you've won them over by the end of the game. There's a parody version of these things where people have started personifying inanimate objects or animate objects that are not human. There is a game called Hateful Boyfriend, which is about you dating pigeons. We are not going to do that before you suggest it again. We are not doing that. However, in this parody system, there are certain ones where they've started, because in Japan, they personify anything and everything into humanish characters. This has now gotten morphed all the way to, they now just do games where the idea is to date that equipment. So they have to personify that piece of whatever it is. Not for a dating sim, but in their just anime personification, they've personified blood cells and stuff. They've turned everything into a human over in Japan. In this particular case, there is a game where the idea is you're dating tanks. World War II tanks, World War I tanks, I'm not entirely sure. I'm assuming World War II because we looked up the little trailer on Steam and it showed World War II tank videos. However, when you look at the trailer, they show the tank in the background, the actual historical video of the tank. And then in front, they show the character. It's supposed to be like, oh, look, that's the Panzer and so is this chick. But they didn't put any effort into personalizing the chick. Nothing about her image made me think anything of the tank that was in the background. She was just blonde hair and blue eyed, with the implication, I think implied by chat, that, oh, she has one more trait. Of course, she's also got to be racist, which a tank, like the idea is you're dating the idea of the tank. The tank, that is not a defining feature of that tank. The tank is not racist. You cannot define something as being racist if you are implying human attributes to an inanimate object. That doesn't make any sense. But ignoring that, the tank's other legit defining features just as blonde haired and blue eyed, which all that does is define who made the tank, does not actually define the tank. For this personification thing, like I said, there's a bunch of animes and TV shows where they've done the same thing. It doesn't have to be dating sims, and they do really well in those things. Where they try to be like, oh, this is this vehicle, ergo somehow she has a characteristic of that. Case in point, a show I bring up occasionally that is not directly a personification of the vehicles in question is a show called Girls und Panzer. It's a show, the original season was from like 5 or 6 years ago. And the idea is just that it's just a school on school tournaments where they fight World War II tanks against each other. However, all the people driving the tanks, we still don't have enough blocks. What is the Mason doing? Is he just taking his sweet time? Oh, that's right. He got interrupted by the chest we ordered earlier. All the schools represent different countries. So they all use that country's tanks, and all the drivers from their schools are also characteristic of the people from that country. Down to, in certain cases, the vehicle they're driving itself. For instance, they have the British team. The British team is all a bunch of prim, proper, British looking and sounding girls. They're all drinking tea all the time. That is not just like oh, how dare they take a dig at the British. British tanks and stuff actually have tea equipment in it. There's a historical thing between British Army and tea. It's a couple of funny stories, but ignoring that. But they're like, oh, it's all calm, collected, thought out engagements. We're like, they're kind of cool under the hood no matter what's happening, which is actually a known trait of the British Army. There are a lot of fantastic quotes about people in the British Army just not giving a fuck. Their arm has been blown off, and there's quotes of lieutenants with like their arm suddenly missing going, oi, not oi, but whatever. Oh, would you look at that? My arm is gone. They've got some good shots. So all their tanks, they have the leader of it driving around, drinking tea. All the girls are named after different teas. I think the primary commander's name is Darjeeling. They're all named after different teas. They go into combat. However, Britain also rolled out a rather shitty tank, the Churchill. It was, particularly when it was initially released, it had a great many flaws. Churchill himself even said so. The Churchill tank, like, it's gotta be the only thing with the name of Churchill. It has more flaws than I do. Like, he kind of almost took it with a bit of pride that the one thing named after him has a ton of flaws, and he was a self-deprecating gentleman. The female driving that one has pink hair. Her name is Rose Hip, after some type of tea. I'm not a big tea person. But because the tank was known for its speed and instability, the whole time this chick is acting like she's over hyper. She's always moving, and she's the only person on the British team who spills her tea. And she does it all the time because her tank is the Churchill. Like, that's the personification, is that it's super fast, fucking unstable as shit, and it's not really fucking reliable. It's just gung-ho, goes out in the battle, probably gets itself fucking demolished. Maybe it takes out a bunch of shit while it does so, but it's too fast for the other tanks, and they can never really keep up with it, either in command structure or in terms of keeping up a formation, but it also really doesn't care. It was kind of just this random hodgepodge. And that's an actual thing that can be associated with that tank in World War II. Whereas this tanking sim, this tank dating sim that my chat has decided to bring up to me, they show a German Panzer tank, and they're like, oh, how do you, okay, blonde hair, blue-eyed, and maybe she's racist. That has nothing to do with the Panzer tank. Have a good evening, night, blind, not night. Have a good night, blind. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm not saying I wouldn't date a fridge, but I'm also not saying I wouldn't date a fridge. Good. Naughty fridge doesn't have an ice dispenser. What? Wonderful combo, but I'm hungry somehow. Again, thank you so much. I think I already actually missed you leaving, but thank you so much. Later, night, so long. Seen a couple of those. Always comes back to ooh. Girls und Panzer is a gift to mankind. Tea everywhere. It is a good anime. And they're still putting out OVAs. Like they only had like 1 or 2 seasons and then they stopped for a few years. And then just like every 2 years, they release a new OVA. There's like, all right, here's another adventure of tank warfare. It's a pretty good show. I love it. But they also, for that show in particular, they also get the audio down well. A lot of shows, okay, these floors are just not getting done, so I'm going to cancel them and reorder them. They keep getting suspended for some reason, and I don't know why. I'm assuming it has something to do with where the source of the material is. So I'm just going to cancel them and reorder them, hoping that I grab from proper chalk blocks and I don't have to worry with whatever is happening to the source of those. But as I was saying, a lot of anime, they're more and more trying to rely on CGI, and they always get it wrong. But Girls and Panzer use a bit of CGI, and they don't get it wrong. They use it for the tanks and the tanks only, and that's so that like you can have accurate on-time suspension, recoil, things like that. It does create a weird dichotomy when you see like the drivers poke their head out, the commanders, and it's a 2D drawn female student sticking her head out of a CGI tank. Sometimes it does create this weird dichotomy, but they constrain the CGI to the tank to show it more effectively. But more importantly, and I really like the attention, is the audio. At least when you're not doing the dub. They've screwed it up in the dub. I don't know why. But every country has war music. They have marching songs and stuff like that. So whenever those countries are going, especially the ones that are antagonists to the protagonists, they have that country's song playing. Every country has a moment where they might not win the fight, but every country, protagonist and antagonist, has a moment in every fight where they're winning. They get to have a victory theme due to them having the upper hand in battle. And then the other person at some point is also likely to have their type of music going when they have the upper hand in battle. So you can showcase different countries and tanks' high points and low points, as it were. And not every fight is won by the protagonists. Sometimes, even though they do win, they only win kind of because the enemy team basically cost themselves the victory, if that makes sense. And again, that goes back to Rosehip's Churchill. Is just, if you hadn't gone out of position, you would have had it. Because that was a big issue, actually, in World War II. I'm forgetting his name right now. The American general hated the British. Hated the British, something fierce. Patton hated the British. he did a lot of things, but there are quite a few quotes attributed to him where he basically just wished he had full control over everything, and that the British troops just, he didn't have to work with them. Oh, actually, I should take that back. I don't think he had an issue with British troops. I think he had an issue with British command. There were some issues that we'll say that occurred. I'm not going over all of it in detail, mostly because as I'm now just trying to recall it, I'm going to get the details wrong. And I would not wish to be historically wrong, but they try to reflect those type of things in the show. That being said, though, you still cannot represent a tank with only the description of blonde-haired, blue-eyed, and racist. That is not appropriate to the tank. Tea everywhere. No, it is kind of funny whenever Rosehip is on the scene, because they have a point using the British example. They have the Italians, they have the Germans, they have the Russians, they have the French, they have Americans, they have the Japanese. It's the protagonist. They just use a hodgepodge of tanks. They basically have an equivalent of the UN. I know it would have been the League of Nations at that point, but it's supposed to be like the championship something team. It's basically the UN. They have a bunch of different ones, but using the British as the example, Darjeeling in like one of the early things even makes a comment because someone's about to be way too agitated. She even makes comments like, "We're British. We're British. Calm down, drink your tea." A proper Brit does not spill their tea. Proper Brit does not lose their head. Calm down. And then I don't even think Rosehip shows up in the original season. It's one of the OVAs she finally shows up, I believe. And then she goes up. She's like, let's get over there. We gotta do it. And she's always fucking moving. She's not doing that, of course, but she's always like, we gotta go. She's almost like what's his name from? I'm forgetting the South Park. Tweak. She's almost like Tweak, a little bit like toned down from Tweak, but she's clearly just had a little too much tea, so she's always excitable. But they also, how do I word this correctly? Build construction floor. That's how I word this correctly. No, 10, and we'll order 50 at once since we're waiting on the rest of the blocks. They also, in the show, will showcase what strengths unique tanks have. If a tank was uniquely known for something, there's some point in the show where the tank is going to do that thing for a major upset, what have you. Be it, oh, the fins are in there too. Be it the Finnish BT-42. I'm forgetting the tank that had the skirts that dropped off. What was the name of that? I think it was a German. The fuck was the name of that tank? But the one with the skirts in question, for instance, the tank was designed to be on roads and off roads if necessary. Not the BT-42, but it was designed the same thing, though it had completely different technology. So what they had is they would distribute the weight over soft dirt by having a second set of treads on either side, an extra skirt with armor on it. And if necessary, you could take the side skirts off if you were on solid ground that did not need a better distribution of weight. The way they do this in the anime in the particular scene is it's like, oh, look, it's stuck at a door. Haha, that tank that's basically the boss fight. We can't take it on. Haha, he can't get through it. They always do this way too fast. That's one fault, we'll say, historically, is all the tanks do everything. What would take a regular maintenance crew a couple hours, the tank can do it like it's an ability. The tank goes, pff, and like just the wheels pop off and the tank just keeps driving to fucking try to destroy everyone. Things like that. So while the speed and the impact of a lot of these traits are ahistorical with how fast you're able to pull them off, rather almost like they're a special ability. Where is, hold on, something's wrong here. Track stop was never made, so my clothing is not getting condensed. Fantastic. While this, like, they have tanks that drift. Some tanks can drift in the right scenario, but basically almost every tank at some point has a scene where it has to drift. It's got to be entertaining. Some parts are ahistorical, but if there's something historically awesome about a tank, it will show up at some point. No. I want to smooth the stone down because you have screwed up my floor. I still almost imagine a racist Goku tank. Tall yellow hair. You're welcome for that horrible mental image. Spazoid or whatever. Freakazoid. Dropping skirts. Oof, this suddenly became more etchy. Also remember to click streamer name after the raid to properly count as a viewer. Wait, what? Remember to click streamer name after a raid. You properly... I don't know what that means. Pokes mods. I don't know what you're talking about. Am I supposed to click a name? I don't know what that means. But can you bang this tanks? Because if not, my friend isn't interested. So no, in that show, you cannot bang. It is not a dating sim. My point being, though, that if you're going to find a way to correctly personify things like tanks, you have to have things that are representative of what the tank is known for. You cannot just say blonde hair, blue-eyed, racist. No, the people in the raid, the refer equals raid shenanigans. Okay, but okay, let's say after, when my stream is over in 2 hours, let's say I raid Blizzard. Am I supposed to be clicking his name? What does that even mean? Like, I don't know what you're talking about at all. I didn't know I was supposed to be clicking things. I'm not surprised that a tank dating sim exists. Look, if you've been caught, Dragoman, you've been missing a rather large portion of the conversation then. You've been letting insanity take over the chat. We've needed your voices of reason, and you've not been here. You've been letting us down. Please just build. I don't know why those 5 squares in particular are just so impossible to be built. If you come in with a host. Okay, but regardless of the situation, explain the mechanics to me. Again, let's say I raid someone and then a host brings them in. What do you mean click on the streamer's name? If you're a viewer in a channel and they raid someone, the people in that raid mostly don't count as viewers unless they refresh or click the streamer's name and just refresh the video and URL. I think I get what you're saying. Other than click the name. I get the idea of refreshing to make sure you count as a direct viewer, not necessarily just someone who's brought along in a host. I get that is making sense to me. What do you mean by click their name? Like below the thing, click their name? If refer equals raid is in the URL, you don't count as a viewer. Okay, so if you click their name, it just brings you to their channel, but because they're streaming, it's the same as refreshing. Got it, yes. Okay. So just take refer out. That's how they do that? That's kind of funny, actually. For those of you, though, we're here for more Dwarf Fortress things. If you do not know what we are doing, people mentioned it earlier, but we were doing a Mott and Bailey castle design, with my big issue being that I was on a flat map. So I've been having to slowly build a hill with which to put the Mott castle on. This is the last layer of the hill I'm doing. I wanted to do up to at least this because the wall from the Bailey was this level high. So I wanted to make sure that the bottom level, the ground, so to speak, of the castle was higher than the wall from the lower point. It has taken, unfortunately, a few too many streams just to essentially build a big giant hill. But kind of wanted it to look more appropriate. So that is what we are doing. That is, of course, the Mott. Actually, let me bring the picture up one more time. Upper left circle is the Mott. Lower right circle is the Bailey. And that is what I've been slowly trying to create. But also, because this is, in fact, Dwarf Fortress, we're needing to tweak the historical design because there are certain things we cannot handle or are better able to handle if we reverse certain things. The Bailey in historical situations was used for the blacksmith, the stables, we'll say the support structure of the castle, whereas the Mott itself was the actual defensive castle fort. In Dwarf Fortress, walls cannot be destroyed, so if we have the fort mostly secure anyways, it's unassailable, which means it's in our favor to put the support people in the castle and the fighters in the Bailey. So we're actually using the Bailey to start building up and host more and more barracks for dwarves to train in, and they are legendary plus. We got like people with level 72 in some of these skills. Some of these dwarves have just been in the military since the beginning of this base, just training off and on. I think I have it set up to where I only want or only need minimum 6 people to do certain training activities in the barracks right now, unless they're in this one that only has 3 people. I think I lowered that one to 1. So they rotate in and out all day, every day. Just a couple people here training, a couple people there training. But in total, they've all gotten legendary in their weapons. They're all, or legendary +5 in their weapons. And they're all beyond the legendary +5 and all the pertinent skills required for fighting. So they pretty much get everything killed in a few swings, even though I haven't even completely equipped them out in steel, which reminds me, I need to go back down to the smelter and make sure we have more things smelting. Pig iron. All right, hold on. What do I have for the numbers? Give me a sec to look at my bars. I have 100 iron bars again. Do I have any pig iron at all? I do not think I see pig iron at all. So I'm just going to order up 10 pig iron for now. I don't know what the coke situation is, but 10 pig iron should be able to turn into 40 steel. 10, 20 steel. I really like your tile set. Thank you so much, Faulted Thrower 3. At some point over the next 3/4 of a year, perhaps I might even attempt to make my own. I do creative streams occasionally where I showcase me programming the scripts I use in stream, or I make the alerts, the follow alerts and stuff. I animated as smooth and or as clunky as you think the animations are. I did that on stream one day. So yeah, perhaps at some point next year I will perhaps do my own tile set. I'll need to look at how a tile set is made and do one. Don't get me wrong though, I mostly really like this one. There's just some things I need to tweak. The big thing is I don't even know if it's a tile set thing, is I need it to show the different woods. It is, because this looks uniformly brown, which I think is just designed to make everything go together easily. But at the end of the stream, when we view it under Armok vision, it looks like a patchwork mess, which by the way is one of the reasons why at the top layer of the hill over here, we just started doing everything in chalk. If I did this in wood, I could have it covered, but I'm gonna have to fix it again, all of it with chalk anyways. So that's kind of why we're waiting on chalk to get made, and we're using the dwarves other times so that they can pray in temples and stuff right now. That's why we actually got most of them to be relatively happy. We have two people that throw tamper tantrums every now and then, but we have more people in the happy end of the spectrum than we do the negative, so I feel like it works mostly in my favor. Though I do see that I've come to the end of another hour block, and I recorded 1 hour blocks to make this easier to upload to YouTube for me. So for those of you watching on the YouTube archive when I upload this, thank you so much for watching. Catch you guys next time.